Welcome to the Pretty Red ENT Show. It's your girl, Goddess Nikita, a.k.a. Pretty Red ENT. And if nobody told you they loved you today, just know that Goddess Nikita, she loves you. Okay. All right, guys, I just want to send some love and light out I want to send love and light out to God, the universe, Mother Earth, the angels, the ancestors, the gods and goddesses, like, just because. Like, I don't know, like, you got a reason? Like, nope, just because I love y'all. And I'm just grateful and thankful that you're able to help us out. We help ourselves out, and just being there for us every single day, like, whenever we need you. Like, just, really just being who we are and living in this existence and this being, okay? Man, now this tea I'm drinking on today, guys, it tastes all right. I ain't gonna lie to you and say it don't taste good. Like it's all right. It's like, woo. I give you that little jump start, like, woo, woo. I meant to laugh, so hold on, look. All right, guys. I don't know what I want to talk about today, but I'm gonna just go on a rant. You know what? I was having a conversation with a person, and they're not understanding why people don't like conversating with them. And so they're talking to me about it. They're like, you know what? I don't understand why people don't like conversating with me. It's like they don't hear me. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I wonder if you hear yourself. If you acknowledge what you're saying, then people outside of you have to acknowledge what you're talking about. But it can only happen if it happens within. So they're like, I don't know, like, how I should fix this. Then they ask me my opinion. Well, how do you think I should fix it? And I'm like, like, what do you mean? And I'm like, it's an awkward moment because this person is very, like, opinionated, and they don't like for me to speak spiritually, okay? Like, they don't like me just using logical sense, just, like, making sense of stuff, but, like, I like to talk spiritual. Like, I talk real life, but real life is spiritual life. So I'm really confused on sometimes when this person say that, it really throws me off. I'm like, what? All right, but they don't like it when you relate things back to their spirit, when you hold them accountable for their actions, okay? And I don't know how to explain that. So when I'm telling this person, I'm like, well, you know what? Like, do you want the real answer? Like, you want an honest opinion, or you want me to tone down my opinion for you? Like, I don't know how you want me to do this, because I kind of really don't want to give you the answer because of how you make me feel whenever I talk to you in a conversation. It's like, because I don't agree with you, you have a problem with it, or you feel like we're arguing because we have two different values or two different views. So to me, I acknowledge the fact that you said something, and I just say that, hey, like, I feel like this works better for me. You get mad because I say this works better for me, and you can't control a conversation with me. And so I noticed this. And so it's like, I don't kind of want to give you my opinion. Now this person's like, but I thought you was my friend. Real friends, they know how to 144 on the clock. Real friends know how to, like, speak to each other and how to, like, you get what I'm saying. I'm not going to tone down my answer to make you happy. I'm just not that friend. I can't tone down my answer and lie to you. I can't do that anymore. I'm not going to make you feel better in a conversation and make myself feel less valued in a conversation than you. I'm going to make you feel valued in a conversation because I like to feel valued in a conversation. So at any moment I know that's not reciprocated, you're not going to give that back to me, or you just don't respect what I got to say, no matter what I'm saying, you won't have a conversation with me. You can't ask me my opinion about you or anything about you because you want me to answer a certain way. And that ain't something I can do, okay? I'm just telling y'all that ain't something I can do. Oh, that tea's good. But it really isn't. It's not something I can do anymore. I'm not going to tone me down. And I'm not going to I don't want to conversate with somebody who takes control of a conversation all the time. Like, oh, what are you having to eat today? And this person says, I'm having pizza. What are you having to eat today? You know what? I think I'm going to do fruit. I don't know. I just feel like I want to eat some fruit today instead of just eating some regular food. Why you don't want to eat pizza? Like, pizza's really good for you. The bread, the cheese, it has some of what you need. All your daily intakes. If you put it on the pizza, you can do that. You can even put fruit on a pizza. Get pineapples on it. I'm like, I just said I didn't want no pizza. But you know what? Guess what, though? I think I'm going to go for a walk. Probably maybe like 20 minutes. Then they take it back and go back on the food. And I'm like, okay, well, I told you what I was eating. You didn't hear me. You told me what you was. So let's move to the next conversation. I'm not saying, hey, I acknowledge you, but I see that you still want to talk about this. So what else do you want to talk about? So then you go back like, well, why you just don't want to eat the pizza for? Like, and you start to debate with me about a conversation about what I'm eating today. And you're upset because I don't want to eat pizza. And I'm wondering, like, why? What's wrong? Like, and at that point, the conversation's over with for me. Because I noticed that one, you're debating me. Two, you're trying to control a conversation. It's over with. I can't. Hey, pizza might be good for you. Pizza might be bad for me. Pizza might be good for that person over there. It might be bad for that person. That person might can't eat bread. That person might can't eat certain type of bread. Who am I to say that this is better for someone than me? You feel me? Like, I'm not that person that's going to sit up there and do that. So I think, like, when conversating with, like, people who knew me from the past compared to, like, people who know me now, and they don't understand, like, the healing I went through and stuff like that, or they just never really was my true friend, that's when you come out and I can hear that. And it's like, oh, you don't even respect what I'm saying as a person. Like, I don't like that. Like, you feel like what you like is better than what I like, and that it holds more merit for you than it does me. And I'm confused on what's going on. And so a lot of time when I'm talking to people and I'm telling them, like, hey, you know what? Like, maybe I just don't like that. Maybe I just don't like that. And that's fine. Whatever's good for you is good for you. Doesn't mean that it's good for me. Does not mean that at all. What I'm saying to you is that I love me enough for the both of us. I love me to respect me. I love me enough to, like, really wholeheartedly, deep in my soul, love me. I show up for me. Like, I really like, okay, I pay attention to certain things. Like, I pay attention to people who just, sometimes they call me and they know how I'm going to respond. So they want to argue with somebody. Oh, baby, I'm good enough to sense that out. And I will tell you I'm going to call you back. And then at that point, it's like, okay, so when I change my number, you ain't getting that number at all. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not about to sit up there and I'm not going to be in competition with somebody. I don't want to be talking with someone and you're controlling the conversation. Like, if it's not going your way, you have a problem with that. Prime example. And I was telling a particular person, I was like, this is what I mean. I was trying to let them know, like, the difference of, like, what they're doing to me that I don't like. So I said, like, all right, here we go. So I say, imagine me talking about like spirituality, like different things that I'm just trying to figure out that I just learned. Okay. And I'm having a straight up conversation, one person to one person. And me and you're talking. And I'm telling you, like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And it's fine. Whatever is good for you, it's good for you. But that don't mean that it's good for me. And so I'm just talking spirituality with this person, like, you know what? Well, I feel like maybe God is a woman. Okay. And I go into like say like reason why I feel like God is a woman. This person believes God is a man. And so we're in a group conversation with people. So most people, they typically believe that God's a man in general. And then they hear me talk and I'm like, well, let me tell you why. And they're asking me a question. Do you, as a question, do you? When you're asking do you, that means you're asking a particular person how they feel about a subject. And so I'm like, hey, well, you know what? I mean, we grow up to honor the masculine energy. God is a man, but if you actually really look at it, like what God does, who does that resemble like? And that resembles a woman. Everybody's a woman first before they become a man. Like if you know how the sex starts from how when a baby's in the stomach and it's conceived and how it picks the sex, then you already know that everybody starts off as a woman and then it grows, different like sex parts. Okay. So I was trying to like tone down what I was going to say. Okay. Cause y'all know me, I'm a little forward. But no, all jokes aside though. And so now they're mad because I don't believe what they're saying. I'm saying I'm not disputing what you're saying. Like what you're saying has a valid point. I'm just saying what I believe in now. Like I just, I'm just a little bit different. Like maybe I do believe that God's a woman. Maybe I feel like there's a God and a goddess up there. Like, and they're both, it's a family that helps God. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like I can have this view. You're saying that I'm totally wrong. So now you consider every conversation we have an argument just because I don't agree with you, but yet you consider yourself to be my friend. How are you my friend if every time we disagree, you think we're having an argument? Are we? Or is it that you just don't like me? You don't like what I'm saying? And I'm please believe, guys, sometimes this is what your employer, if you pay attention to some things like questions that they might ask you that might be personal. And then they start taking it out on you. Like, prime example, I remember I was working at Harrison Wendy's. And if you know me, you know I worked at Harrison Wendy's for 10 years. And my manager, I love her to this day. Like, I really changed her. Like, she used to be really racist. And so if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. Because she's not from Ohio. She's definitely from Indiana. She was very racist until she met me. And she got to love me, know me. Like, she really got to, like, really spend some quality time to, like, really know me and, like, really see that what she was taught was incorrect about black people, why she was racist for her. And she, like, thanks me to this day. Like, that's my babe. Shout out to her, okay? I just want to say that. But I remember one day when Obama first came president, we were voting. And we were talking, like I was a college student then, so like me and everybody that was working here, we were all talking. We're all college students. We're like, man, like who do we want to get in there? Like we need some money, some extra money, some debt free. Like we need something that the president that's gonna rock with us about this education stuff. Because I don't understand why we got to pay for education to do something that we were born to do. I'm really confused on why I have to pay to do what I'm born to do. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. So we're having a conversation at work. I remember it was like crazy. And our rush hour went by. Like it was like the start of our rush hour, but we had like a pause. It was really weird. Like we had a pause. We got everything done. Like if you knew our drive-through time, then like it was under like a minute. during the morning time, like, yeah, our rush hour, because we knew that particular companies had to be back at work at a certain time. Campbell Hospital, JTM, they're on a point system. So they got to be back. So we got to be on point. We got to be the one restaurant in the whole Harrison to be popping with their drive-through time, because they had a time they had to get back, and we didn't want nobody to get fired because they were hungry. So we really like put emphasis on our in the drive-through time during the rush hour. So our manager asks, and she asks us, "Oh, hey, who you voting for? If you said you was voting for Obama," now this is somebody who's controlling the conversation. If you was voting for Obama, she sent your ass home. She did not care, and I'm sorry because of guy, but she sent you home. Fine. My friend said, "Oh, I'm voting for Obama." She said, "Boom, go home, clock out. We don't need you." I start getting weak. Oh, like no. I sent my friend. My friend was like, "What?" So then this dude, who I know, like, you know, he was semi-racist, but he's like, "Man, so she's sending people home if you vote for Obama." I'm finna tell her I'm voting for Obama. Oh, go Obama. He didn't even vote for Obama. He just said go Obama just so he could leave. Okay, like, So then she comes around. Now the only two people left, it's me, her, this other girl, and me. Ain't nobody else there. And I'm doing both registers because I was just that good. I'm good at what I do. So I was doing both registers for her while she was getting fries and making sandwiches and doing, you know, everything else. And then we had a girl working up front. Next thing I know is she asked me who I vote for. I said, "Come on, man. We need our first black president in there, okay? My president is black. My Lambo's blue. And I mean, goddamn, okay, I was waking at that time, okay? Ow. She's like, "You know what, Nikita, go home, clock out." And I was like, "For real, you gonna make me clock out?" She's like, "Yeah, I gotta make you clock out. You can go home. If that's what you want to do, you want to vote for Obama, then go ahead. Go clock out and go home." And I was like, dang, I got literally sent home because I was voting for Obama. Now, is this a person who's controlling the narrative? Hell yeah. If you ain't vote for whoever she wants, a Republican, because Indiana is really a Republican state. You have to remember that. If you was voting for a Republican, you could stay and work. But if you were voting for Obama, you was getting sent home. And so she was trying to tell us not to come back in the next day because she was hot. When I say she was hot because she wanted to be racist at that moment, but she wasn't verbal with her racist because I told her, like, that really hurt my feelings. And she seen that somebody in the drive-thru was real racist to me, and I'm one of her best workers that worked the window. Anybody who know I worked at Harrison Wendy's at that window, you knew I was the bomb.com. Like, you knew if I was at that window, you knew you was getting in, getting out, period. And then slap that on something. 555 on the clock, guys. But no, this is just my MO. Like, I was fast, I was good at what I did. And I did a lot of positions. Even when I was taking orders, I did a lot of helping her get ready, even in between orders. So she loved me because I was just everywhere, but I was there like swimwear. So the next thing I know is the general manager calls in and was like, "Why y'all ain't at work today?" We were like, "Well, she told us not to come back in because we voted for Obama." So the owner calls me, who owns that Wendy's, which is my guy. Shout out to him, okay? He calls me. He's like, "Hey, Nikita, I need you to come back into work. Like, I don't know what she's on. She has no control on to tell you who you're voting for. That's a lawsuit. And that ain't something what we into. So you get to gather all your buddies and I'll call everybody else. But I was calling you first because I need you to come in here because I need you to open up my other store." And I was like, "All right, cool. I got you." Like, just like that. And so when she seen us all, we were like, yeah. So we was just sitting up there. She's like, "Well, y'all can't be talking about that at work because it triggers me. And I don't want to, say something. And I know that I shouldn't be saying the things that I'm saying. And I know it hurts people." You feel me? Like, and she's like, "And I know that the most person," oh, she said the most person, but She said, I know the person that it hurts the most is Nikita because, I was born to be racist, but Nikita changed my mind, and I don't mean to offend her, so I apologize. And I was like, oh, bless her heart. You feel me? But this is a person who tries to control a conversation. It's hard to have a conversation with people who try to control a conversation. Like, everybody don't have to agree with you. To have a conversation with you, I would prefer that we didn't agree about everything. I might want to hear what you're saying. And I was telling this particular person, I'm like, every time we talk about spirituality, you feel like it's your way or it's no way. I'm just saying, hey, I might not agree with that. I don't even think that's real or that's true what you're saying. And that's fine. I'm just telling you, ask me my opinion. I'm telling you when you say, well, how you feel about that? And I tell you, I don't agree, but I can see what you're saying, which means that it works for you, but it just doesn't work for me. Now you mad and you argue with me to try to prove the point for me to see it your way or see that you value. Like, it's true. And I'm like, I can't. And then you be mad because I don't do that to you. And so that's the thing too. Like, well, you try to force your spirituality on people. I said, I don't try to force anything on anybody. I said what I said. It's going to be that. Like, you can't make me change my opinion on how I feel about something. But I'm not going to make you feel less for not feeling the way that I feel. I always been spiritual. I always told my mom when I was a kid, I'm like, I really don't want to be tied down to no religion. I don't want to be tied down to no religion. I'm cool on that. Like, I'd rather just be spiritual. Like I just want to be free. I didn't know what that meant then as a child. I do now. Like, I just wanted to be free. I want to be free. I don't want to be like, oh, this is my religion, so I'm stuck to this one thing. Like, no, I don't like that. Like, I'm a person that Jesus might work for you, and that's fine. Buddha might work for this person, and that's fine too. They might worship their angels and ancestors. That's fine too. I'm not saying who's to say that your way is correct? Who's to say that every way isn't correct? Every single way is correct. I'm never going to dispute you, but just don't try to dispute me to devalue me in a conversation. I'm not going to have that conversation with you. So I'm telling y'all, like, some of y'all need to set up boundaries with people. If you know that some people try to control a conversation, they don't want to conversate, not unless you're agreeing with them, don't talk to them. I didn't see if they like that. Like, oh, you know what? I feel like we're going to have a disagreement, so I'm going to just let you go because I don't want to have no disagreement with you. I value your friendship a whole lot. That right there kills people, okay? I'm just going to throw that out there. 2547. I'm talking about, it's all about the Benjamins for that movie. But no, guys, for real. Say that to a person who likes to control a conversation, and I bet they're going to be like, oh, so you think we disagree about everything? You think we argue? No, I'm just using your words, your terminologies. Because how I feel about it is that we're friends. We have different views, and that's what makes us friends. And yet you can't communicate solidly enough to actually acknowledge my point. But instead, you always want me to acknowledge your point and never acknowledge mine. So now we have to depart ways in conversations because you think everything is an argument and I don't. So we're two different people. And that's fine. We can be two different people. We can be whatever we want to be. You can be whatever you want to do. But the main part, all I'm saying is I'm not dealing with anything less than respect. I don't care how long I've known you. I don't care who you are. Hey, if we can have a conversation about this, you want to talk about this, I want to talk about this. If at any point we conversate and we're talking about what you want to talk about, and the moment I want to talk about something, we can't talk about it, guess what? You will not have another conversation with me, and that's okay. Because I can't conversate with somebody where I can't bring up something or I can't talk and bring up a point you only want to talk about what you want to talk about. That's not fair to me. That's not fair to people in conversations, guys, okay? So I just mind my business. But it needs to be a word for these people. People who control conversation. Because I know it's kind of like narcissist, okay? It's like, it's kind of like that, but I'm going to call them the controllable. And you know why? Because they want to control everything. They want to control the friendship. They want to control the conversations that y'all have. They want to control every single body around them besides themselves. They have no control over in the inside, so they need to take control on the outside, but they have to come in balance in between in their self in order to see someone else. And I tell people that all the time. I always acknowledge my friends, like whether I don't agree with what they're doing. Like prime example, I'm gonna give y'all what I'm talking about. And this is why I love these people who to this day, we speak or we don't, right? I remember one day we went out. We were in Kentucky, we were going out. And it was me, 2 other associates, but they were only there because they knew me. And it was like one of the other ones, one of the 2 bought another friend. Okay, so we're all out. And next thing I know, my friend, she walks up like, listen, like, I guess they go to the bathroom, something happened, they come back. I'm sitting up here, I'm talking to 2 other people that I knew from Harrison that see me out, like, oh my gosh, Shakita, like, what's up? That was Shannon and Buster. It's crazy, and Jesse. And I'm there, I'm talking to them. The next thing I know is these 2 friends of mine, they like each other, but they're only cordial because of me. So they went to the bathroom. I'm sitting up here still talking. They come back. Next thing I know, they're saying, hey, listen, Keita, listen, I know what you're going to think. But let me tell you something. Like, I was going to the bathroom, minding my business, and I don't want you to be scared. I'm like, what are you talking about? Be scared? What's up? And she's like, I'm just saying, don't be scared, like, cause we finna hit. And I'm like, finna hit who? So she tells me the story. She said she walks to the bathroom. She was minding her own business, okay? And the girl bumps her, say something crazy to her, and my other friend, she concurred, like, yeah, man, that was foul. Like, she did a foul play. I know that this friend, when she comes to me and she says that, there's no talking her down, okay? So I'm like, usually I'm a person I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, I'm in KY. And KY means Kentucky, guys. So I'm in KY. And where's my mama at? Like, y'all gonna be over here fighting. KY police don't like Cincinnati people, baby. Guess what? That risk is too high to be sitting over here fighting over nothing. Like, you get what I'm saying? So if you feel like she violates you, she pushed you, it is what it is. She want to hit, she was talking smack, let's go. So I'm like, I done contemplated a lot of things. I was like, you know what? Let's go. Let's fight. Let's go. You ready? Let's go. Now, it's crazy because normally I'd be like, you know what? I kind of don't want to fight because, man, we have risk too high. Like, bro, like, we over here in Kentucky. Like, what happened? The police show up and, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can get out. I might got to sit here. I don't want to sit here. I want to go home. Like, I ain't had no kids then. I'm like, I want to go home. Like, I think I was like 24, 25. I don't know. I still got that picture too. My butt was showing in that picture. It's crazy. But in general, guys, like, we were talking and it's like, now, is this a person who this is a prime example. Was she trying to control the conversation? She kind of was, but she wasn't because she knows me. She knows I'm going to be thinking about every outcome. Okay, we go over here, fight. Then we hurry up, do what we got to do. We could skirt off, do whatever we need to do. But she knows I'm going to add the fact that we in Kentucky, and I just don't take risks with me getting in trouble out of town. Like, it got to be a real good reason that I'm fighting. I just don't be fighting people like that. I don't like to fight. So I'm like, is it a real good reason why you fighting or not? Like, so the one time I agree to fight, okay, I'm just going to throw this out here because I usually talk her out like, oh, nah, bro, we got better stuff to do. Like, let this girl just talk smack. Now, like, who cares? You're a boss. I'm a boss. I don't care what she's talking about. She's not controlling my money. So the one time I agree, like, all right, let's hit. Ain't no fight happen. my best friend, she went over there. We were talking, and I was like, all right, like, she started going on. She said what she said, and I was like, all right, well, you know. Now, did she understand that if I might say, hey, I don't think we should do it. It's too many police right here. That's too hot for me. Like, I don't think it's worth the risk. She knows I'm that friend that's going to give her that risk factor. Like, I don't think that's worth the risk. Now, she respects me enough to be like, you know what? I respect that. Like, is it that conversation was controlled? Like, no, that conversation wouldn't have been controlled if I would have said no. Like, you get what I'm saying? It would have been like, okay, well, just make sure I don't get jumped. That's all she gonna say. Like, if I don't want to fight, she's just gonna be like, bro, just make sure I don't get jumped. Or she's like, you know what, Kitty, that's right. Like, I'm a little mad because you ain't let me fight, but you know what? I understand. But see, the other friend, she always on mess. So I can't, she was an Aries. I can't, man, she's ready to go. She ready to go. I can't stop it. So it's like, hey, I couldn't stop either one of them. So it was like, all right, well, let's go. Like, I'm not about to, hey, I look at the odds, like, even if I tell you the odds, you're still going to be on mess. So let's just go. But they respect me enough to be like, if I didn't want to, they would have been upset, but they would have been all right. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that they control it. Like, well, why? Well, why this? Like, you always don't. It's not like that. It was never portrayed like that at that moment. So that's like giving y'all an example of like them controlling. Now, somebody who would have been controlling that was like, why you every time? Like, you always got something to say, like, and not even say nothing yet. Get what I'm saying? And it's like, what? Like, but why can't we just fight? Let's just fight. Like, and they give all these reasons. And I'm like, well, fighting isn't good for you. Like, what happens if you hit somebody and something happens to them? Like, they actually are really harmed. Like, you really hit somebody over words. Like, really? Like, you really try to harm somebody because how they made you feel, not understand that, yeah, sometimes words can hurt, but at that time, you gotta, if you really tapped into you know that whatever they're saying to you, really, there's just a reflection how they feel about themselves in the inside. So once you come to that balance, yeah, you're like, oh, okay. But I guess I kind of always was that balance, like even at a young age. Now that I'm sitting back thinking about it, talking to y'all, like, dang. I used to be like, when people said stuff about me, like, oh, all right, whatever. People like, oh, you're fat. Or, man, you're really tall and you're skinny. And you know what? Like, I just, you know, and people just say the craziest things to be like, you just think you're better than us because your hair's long. You think you're better than us because your eyes change color. You think you're better than us because you're light skinned. Like, dang, I ain't even saying nothing yet. I used to just be like, oh, okay. And now I see why people used to get upset because I never used to argue back with them. Like, I used to be like, oh, okay. Now I see why they wanted to still argue with me. And so I'm just saying, I'm not about to, I don't know. I guess I've never really been an argumentative type. But if I love you, like if you're a family member, or I really love you and I consider you fam, I'll argue with you just because I love you. But I won't argue with anybody. But I don't argue no more now. So it's more like I'm more chill, relaxed. I'm more just balanced, really. I'm not finna go there with you. If I gotta go there with you, I'm not finna have a conversation with you because arguing means I'm trying to convince you to believe what I'm saying. And me personally, I could care less if you believe what I'm saying or not. Like, I hope that if I'm just talking to you, I hope it resonates and just helps you. But also, if you don't believe what I'm saying, test me out. Do your own research on what I'm saying. I always tell people that, even when I'm doing my spiritual readings for people, or when I'm like doing cleanses, or I'm helping a person, I say, test me out. Don't just believe every single thing a person tells you, like at all times. Like, don't do that. Like, always test people. And people be like, what? No. I'm like, if you think even when I'm giving people a reading, I say, if you think the information I'm giving you is incorrect, pray about it. Ask God to show you, whoever you believe in, your angels, your ancestors, Mother Earth, the universe, God, whoever you believe in, ask them if I am correct. test them and see if you get confirmation. Because you're testing your faith, you're testing God. You're like, hey, you know what? Let me pray about it. Pray about it, baby. Meditate about it and see if I'm correct or not. See if I am able to give you information, if you're able to receive me. Some people don't do that step. Hey, you come to me, there's a certain things how I do my reading compared to that's different than a lot of people that I've seen that did readings, that do readings in general, that I even come across. I do my readings totally different. So when you come and get a reading from me, it's different. You're going to have a different experience than you have ever had with anybody else because I do my stuff different. Can't nobody do what I do. Nobody. Only I can do what I do. I can teach people how to do what I do, but you can't do it exactly the same way as I do it. I would teach you how to unlock your gifts on how to do what you need to do, but I can't teach you exactly how I do what I do because what I do is totally different because of who I am. You do what you do because of who you are. So I always tell people that, like, make sure you test what I'm saying if it's true or not. Ask if I can give you a reading. Ask if you can receive the information I'll give to you. Some people don't even ask at all. Like, God, can you talk to this person for me? Now, see, the difference is that when you have conversations with people who claim that they're your friend or whatever the situation is, a lot of times when people who know me, they come across me, they were probably praying about something. I come and talk to them, give them confirmation. That's because I'm tapped in. They ain't got nothing to do with me and you. Me and you do two different things. You could be tapped in, but you do a different job. I'm tapped in a little bit different than how you tapped in. Doesn't mean that we're not all tapped in. We are all tapped in the same. We're just get there differently. And that's fine. And that's okay to have that communication. But some people, they will make you feel bad if you don't do it their way. I'm like, no, I don't care like how you tap in. You might tap in a little bit faster than me. Like, hold on, girl, teach me what you're doing. I'm that friend. Like, what? I do it totally different. Let me tell you how I do it. My friend's like, you know what? Scratch out what you do right here. Start right here. That's what a friend does. Like, you know what? I acknowledge what you do, but let me tell you how I do it and see if my way works for you. I'm that friend like, you know what? See if my way works for you. And that's a real friend. That's somebody who's not trying to control the conversation, but that's somebody who's acknowledged what you said. Even like when I had a conversation with my one friend, I'm like, you know what? I just don't think, fighting solves anything. And I really think that you should really think about your actions before you do them. Like, you have kids now. And she's like, you know what, Keita? I acknowledge what you say, and you are so sweet. And that's the reason why I like being friends with you, because you're not like everybody else that I'm around. Everybody else they like the drama. You really don't. And so I be needing that around me because I need to see that there's a better way and that there is somebody that lives and walks amongst us that do it a better way. And you are always happy. And I feel like you're always happy because you don't do anything wrong to people. And she like really explained that to me, and she didn't try to control the conversation. She's like, but Keita, I beat females up for real. I do this for real. But she didn't say females. She actually said the word. She's like, I really do this. I kind of I don't like to do it, but my environment makes me want to do that. How I was raised. And I'm like, well, you know that it's wrong. You don't really like it. So then why continue to do it? Because people expect me to do it. It's like they test me. And I was trying to explain to her like different ways on how to help her be better and to understand like what she's doing is incorrect, but not making her feel bad either at the same time. Because there's a conversation that can happen where, hey, your friend might be doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Are you going to be the friend that tells them like, hey, I don't think you should do that? Are you going to be the friend that agrees with them? Yes, I don't agree with one of my friends, but guess what happens? I respect my friend enough and value my friend enough to make sure that she actually understands that, hey, I get it. We all go through things, and I'm not a person to say like what you're doing is incorrect or it is. I'm just here to be a voice like, hey, like, I think that you should look at it from this point of perspective. You're asking me my opinion. This is how I view it. That's it. Like, you take it how you leave it. And the people that really value that in their life as me as a friend to be that voice, they put me there, their voice, like, oh my gosh, like I know if I'm doing something wrong because you're going to tell me, like, you ain't going to sugarcoat it to me. You're not going to lie. You're not going to agree with me even though you know I'm wrong. But you don't make me feel bad about it. So that's what I'm saying about controlling the narrative, controlling a conversation, controlling on how someone deals with you. I would rather be an honest person to give you exactly what you want and allow you to choose the way you want to go. I give you my honest opinion. You ask me, I'll tell you. If you're at a crossroads, you ask me, like, there's a different conversation that happens. But I'm not that friend that's going to judge you because you chose to do that either. Like, hey, whatever your prerogative is, that's your prerogative. I don't do that. I'm not responsible for your habit. I'm only responsible for my own. And so when you separate that, even in a conversation, some people don't like that. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock. But 12:34. But in general, guys, like, I'm just not that person to really, I'm not really like that. Like, I really do my best to really be like open with people in a conversation. Like, I don't judge nobody. I also don't control the narrative. Like, you might need to talk to me. You might need to clear your conscience. I'll do that for you. I have no problem. Like, you feel me? Like, I listen to you. Like, I know how it feels I want people to listen to me. I have people who call me all the time. You claim to be my friend, but I can't call you and discuss my problems. But, you know, that is the reason why I learned how to do things different. I learned how to move. But I also just, guys, I really don't like to control nobody. Like, I don't like that. Even like people who I gave readings to, and they want me to put them underneath my wings. I gave you a reading already. So that, to me, that was putting you under my wings. I gave you the stuff that you needed to be free, the things that you needed to see how to be. Like, a real healer know how to trigger the healer in you. I'm a person that can help you out with exploring your spiritual gifts, how to tap into them. Even if like you're a psychic, medium, or whatever spiritual gift you got, I can be here to help you out to unlock that. I'm not that person who wants to control your spiritual gift. I will teach you how to unlock it, tell you what to do, and you figure it out, and you trust yourself because you know the answers within. You got to learn how to listen to the voice within in general with everything that you have going on. So I am that friend who helps you. I'm that spiritual person that helps you unlock your gifts. I'm a spiritual person that helps you stay focused on you. I don't do anything else but help you stay focused on you. Most people don't do that, but I do it that way because I like to do it that way. I don't like to do it any other way besides the way I do it. But in general, guys, because this is very important, because some people do not look at it like this or don't feel this way. But guys, I'm not going to give you information that you don't need. If I'm giving you a reading, I'm going to give you information that you need. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I'm going to tell you exactly what your family's saying. And I don't control the narrative. Like, it could be your family. Your family might tell me during a reading not to give you a reading. I have had that happen. A girl's like, she don't need no reading from you. Her grandma was like, we talked to her. She don't need a reading from you. It is not that you're a bad person. We're trying to work on her spiritually, but what you could do is help us out with like help her connect in to hear us and see us because you know how to do it. And I was like, okay. And only thing I did was explain to her what I do to connect with my family and how to like hear or see people the way that I do. And it helps her out. And I was like, but your family don't want me to give you a reading. And it's no disrespect. It's just, it is what it is. And she's like, wow. She's like, I thought like I was tripping out, but I guess I wasn't. talking to you, I'm like, yeah, they want to talk to you because they can talk to you spiritually themselves. Like, they don't need me to talk to you. You need yourself. And the girl was like, dang. And her grandma was like, well, thank you for helping us. Like, are you offended? I'm like, nah, that's cool. Like, sure. That's bad to me. I don't have to tap in, do no extra stuff. Like, as long as, but sometimes like, and me controlling the narrative, I could have argued back with her family spiritually. I'm not going to argue with nobody's grandma. Not here, not never, not ever. Okay? No, I don't want no type of smoke with them. I'm good, laugh. Enjoy. But nah, guys, like really just like pay attention to when you conversating with people for real. Like, are they conversating with you for real? Are you able to conversate about everything that you want to talk about? Or is it just about what this person wants to talk about only? Even with down to anybody, work relationships, boss, managers, all of them. Some people don't like to talk when they don't like to talk about when they wrong. But they love to talk about when you wrong. But when you tell them that they're wrong, they have a problem with that. No, you're trying to control the conversation. And when I'm talking to people, trying to explain to them, like, hey, this is what you did to make me feel this way. Listen to me all the way. Don't try to talk about what I did. No, you need to talk about this is what you did. I'm talking about your actions only. I don't care what I did to make you do this action. But I kind of do, but I don't. But like me, if I'm saying something because this is what you did to me. I don't like the way that your tone of voice was. I didn't cuss you out. So you figure that you can cuss me out? Okay, you're right. I didn't raise my voice to you, but you feel like you could raise your voice to me as a woman and you're a man. Okay, you're right. Like different stuff like that. Like it is really weird, but I learn people and conversations and value yourself. If you know that you're not going to be heard in a conversation and you know that, hey, this person, you might have to communicate with a person. Like it could be like your mom, your sister, brother, cousin, whoever. You might have to communicate with them. But you now know that you can't communicate everything about them. Communicate just bare minimum. Okay, they need to know where you at. All right, I got you. All right, let me call you back. You don't want to talk about what I want to talk about? We're not going to talk about anything that you want to talk about. I noticed that you only want to talk when we're controlling the conversation, where you feel like you can yell at me or you feel like I have to agree with what you're saying. I don't want to be a part of that conversation. And that's okay. Choosing you is self-love. Choosing peace is self-love. Choosing not to be in a conversation where people are bound to want to control a narrative or always assume that you're wrong or just want to always argue with you, that is called self-love. Practice it, okay? All right, guys, I ain't going to talk your head off too much, but I do appreciate y'all tapping in, listening to my podcast. I hope this helps somebody out today with identifying people and conversations and how to choose you and choose peace. And if a person always thinks that you're arguing the moment that you don't agree with them, that's because they arguing with their self and the inside. Remember that. It ain't even you. It's really them arguing with themselves. Their inner child, they could be arguing with their inner child. Their inner child might be like, we don't want you to do that. They probably like, we gonna do this. They might be arguing with their higher self, their guru self, their master self, their spiritual self, their soul self. They could be arguing with everybody else with their physical. And that's the reason why they choose to think that every time that you talking, it's an argument every time you disagree. And sometimes schooling teaches this. Like, hey, if you talk to someone and you don't agree with them and they're like, hey, I just feel this way, or they're sticking to the I feel this way, and you're like, you shouldn't feel this way, you're telling them how they should feel, then guess what? Then it's the school teaches this an argument instead of, hey, somebody's communicating effectively. You asked the opinion, I gave it, you upset, okay, what do you want me to say to you? I can't make you feel any better than how you feel about yourself. The only person that can feel good about themselves is you. It takes you to start this conversation off and have morals and fun. But guys, I'm just here to tell you and rock and roll with y'all about controlling the conversation, how some people, they like to control the conversation. And sometimes it comes off like, they feel like they're better than you, or they just feel like they want to control because they have no control within. So they need to control everything out. So the way to shut it down is to set boundaries. They start realizing what they're doing, because sometimes you don't have to tell people what they're doing. You just stop them. I've learned to do that. I've stopped. Like I said, this year, I'm not telling people what they're doing wrong. You know what you did. I addressed it the first time. The second time, you'll see how I move. You won't be able to have that conversation with me, any other conversation besides bare minimum. Or I might not have a conversation with you at all. I might not be around you no more at all. And that's fine. That's cool. But you know what it is between you and I because I have addressed it one time. And I forgave you. It's just I have a boundary and I got to protect myself. I'm not going to keep healing over the same thing that I healed before. I just can't do that. I love me, okay? But thank you guys for tapping in, zooming in with me to the Pretty Red Auntie Show. Make sure y'all follow me on all platforms at the Pretty Red Auntie Show. But make sure you follow my webpage. Show me some love on there. Leave me a comment. Heart episode that you like. Tell me how you feel about this episode. I do respond back. I'm a real person, I guess. But you can follow me at my webpage at the Pretty Red Auntie Show.podbean.com. Okay. Or you can search for me on all platforms at the Pretty Red Auntie Show, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, all the Twitter. And I thank you so very much for being with me, tapping in, zooming in. So, all right, guys, thanks for rocking with the best. Yes. Okay. But this your girl, Goddess Nikita, a.k.a. Pretty Red Auntie.